Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Muslim CEO show. This is the place for you if you want to become an amazing leader and grow your business or organization to the next level. We do this by learning from those that have been there, done it, and bought the show alchemies. I'm your brother and your host, Mohammad Arshad, and today I am honored to have with me the amazing Faisal Amjad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu.
How are you doing? I'm good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, very good.
Okay, so I am super excited to have Faisal on the show. This is because Faisal is someone I've known for at least 20 years. If you want any dirt on me, Faisal has it all, I think. But he's also someone who I really trust. He's one of my business partners. You might have seen the other interview with Ameen. Faisal is actually my long-standing business partner. We've been in business for years. We've done so many different projects. And I'm really excited to have him here because I feel like he's such a complement to the kind of skills that I have. So I feel he's very different. He's actually a lawyer by trade. He's the founder of No. He's got lots of projects that he's worked on. And I think that in this episode, we're going to delve into some of those things. And it's going to be really amazing. And it's going to be very personal because we know each other so well, alhamdulillah. What do you think, Faisal?
It's a bit strange, yeah, because I've always been the guy kind of behind the scenes. So this is it's a bit of a change of scenery, I guess. But it's all good. Let's do it.
I think it's going to be good. So let's start with the typical question. Unfortunately, unfairly, you actually know the question I'm going to ask because I ask it to everyone, right? So the question is, what was 10-year-old Faisal like?
Okay, so at 10, I was a straight A student, believe it or not. I was actually very studious. And my sister, I remember, after you were at my wedding, so my sister gave a bit of a speech, and she was actually describing 10-year-old me. I don't know if you remember that. She was saying, he was an angel at school, in the sense that he was always, the teachers would always say, straight A reports and all that kind of stuff. At home, I was a nightmare. I would just cause so much havoc and things like that. But the one thing I remember about that time is that my mum instilled this thing into us we used to go to the library every single week. So I remember just being a reader. That's all I actually remember from my childhood, from before big school, as they say. I just used to read and read, and I was obsessed with Roald Dahl. And so it was always, I used to, I wanted to be a children's author like Roald Dahl, and so I used to even just copy his style of writing, and I was like, one day, I'll be a children's author and write it like him and all that kind of stuff. So he was my kind of early role model, I'd say. And so that was me at 10. Okay. It all changed after.
Amazing. So straight A student who loves books and loves reading, basically, and wanted to be a writer.
That's it.
Okay, amazing. So first, let's delve into a few of these things, right? The first thing I want to understand is, obviously, you're a huge part of Muslim CEO. Tell us a little bit about what are you responsible for within Muslim CEO? What are the kind of things that you do, and just some background in terms of your expertise?
Okay, so for Muslim CEO, I would say the middleman, or the kind of guy who's kind of central to it all, in the sense that I've always kind of done the operations of everything, and in terms of expertise, we've got three main segments that we do. We have Blueprint. Blueprint's all about strategy and things like that. So that's a part I've always kind of been involved with, obviously with yourself. And then we have a bit at the other end, which is Boost, which is what Ameen does and things like that, which is funnels and Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And I'm responsible for the bit in the middle, which is Build. So once you've actually created your strategy and your blueprint, I'm the one that kind of help you to bring it to life. Okay, by doing things like branding, by doing things like your website. How do we get what it looks like on paper into an actual living, breathing entity? So that's kind of where I come in. And then the specialism beyond that is where I get involved in content, because content's my baby, really. That's what I love doing. I love writing and things like that. So content is where I kind of I come to life, really, and try different content strategies to ensure the authentic tone of voice is coming out, and what you want to say is being showcased in the best way possible on the right platform in the way that's most engaging.
Okay, amazing. So I think, obviously, it's great that you are a really big fan of writing, and even now content's like such an important part for you, right? Now, some people watching might be thinking, well, you know, you said Facebook ads, funnels, that's all really great. Like, why is content so important today?
I mean, content is the sort of lifeblood, isn't it, of the digital world. Everything we look at is content. We watch videos on YouTube, it's content. We attend an event, it's content. People think, oh, content is just online things you read and write. No, things we experience is content. We spend time on our phones, on apps, but what we're reading on there, we're reading content essentially. So it literally you can't navigate the digital world without having an understanding of content, because content equals attention. And if you can grab people's attention, you know how to do that, and then you've got the ability to influence them into taking the action that you need them to take.
Amazing. So obviously, like, content should be a major strategy for anyone who wants to grow their business, wants to grow their revenue, their customers, their impact, all the kind of things that they're doing, right? Tell us a little bit of background. Like, how did you come to doing something like this? Like, you mentioned that you kind of were very studious and things like that. Tell us a little bit about university and kind of bring us up to speed of how you got from, like, college, university to kind of doing this stuff now.
Okay, so it's quite strange because I was very studious up till 10, 11, 12, right? And then I got to sort of a comprehensive, and what I'd found was I was actually quite naturally talented, and I even remember the point. This was year 9. What happened was that we actually went on a family trip to Pakistan, and I remember I was gone for 6 weeks. Came back, and the teacher said to me, "Oh, you haven't done any of this work, so I don't expect." She said, "Look, just do the exam. I don't expect anything from you because you haven't really studied any of this stuff." I did it, and I got the highest in the class. I got like 92%, 93%, and so from that, I remember that point quite vividly because for 2 reasons. One is that it was that point complacency I really feel set in, and secondly is because from that point on I felt I don't really need to work that hard. I actually kind of came to that conclusion genuinely, and so from then on I started like coming out of my shell a bit more and being a bit more, maybe I don't think cocky, but talkative and all that kind of stuff, and studying a lot less because I started taking things for granted. And so as a result, I kind of I still got good grades, but I didn't get what I was kind of expected. That kind of I would say this pattern I was in probably until after university. I kind of cruised through university, bare minimum.
What did you study at university?
So I studied law. I studied law. Again, because I always had this kind of writing skill and sort of ambition and stuff. And to be honest, at that time, I wanted to do journalism, right? But 9/11 just happened. And I remember I did media at college as well. And one of my projects was studying the aftermath of 9/11 and what does that mean for Muslims and all that kind of stuff. I remember when I was writing that project, it was crazy because I started it in August, and then so I was able to see the before, and then the September 9/11 happened, and then I saw the after. I was like, whoa, okay, and so I was thinking, oh my god, like, am I going to have to write? If I was to became a journalist, I would have to write against Muslims and all that kind of stuff. So I became very unsure at that point, and so my family was sort of encouraged to say, look, if you're a good writer, go down the law path, it's more recognised. Obviously, everyone wants their kid to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? So, so anyway, so I did the whole law thing, and I would say again, as I said, I just cruised through, didn't massively enjoy it. But one of the things that I did enjoy about law was that I remember on the first day, again, it's amazing the sort of little stories or anecdotes you remember from your kind of your past. On the first day of the law degree, the guy sort of started in front of us, and he said to us, he goes, "Oh, up until this point," he goes, "this degree is going to change your life." And I was like, okay, right. You roll your eyes, everyone probably says that. But he says that because he goes that up until this point, you have seen the world in black and white, right? And he goes that because in law, you will have to analyze from every single angle. You will have to make your case. You'll have to do this. You'll have to do that. You'll have to examine and study and look at all the grey areas and once you made your case, you might still be wrong. And what that would teach you is that you will learn that the world is actually grey. It's not black and white. And so, you learn to appreciate nuances and things like that. And for me, that was another really important thing that stuck out on me. I thought, oh wow, that's quite deep. And so that was probably the best part of the whole degree, to be honest.
Okay, amazing. So you could have just quit on day one and you got the main lesson out of it. Okay, amazing. So what happened after that?
So once I graduated, one thing, the second thing I learned from law was I don't want to be a lawyer. That's the second thing
Is that because your moral compass then? Is that why?
The part of that was, what I've been taught, that's not justice. It doesn't come across as justice. So there was a little bit of that, but a lot of it was just because it didn't do what I thought it would do. It didn't really sit right with me. But one thing I was really sort of interested in at that stage already was business. And so I was like, look, what I just want to work for a big company. That was my sole focus, and I kind of went down that route. So I was applying, all the big names that you do graduate schemes, Mars or whoever, and I was fortunate, alhamdulillah, to get into Boots on my doorstep. Right, Boots are in Nottingham. So I was kind of recruited to their graduate pool, and they did a personality test and stuff. They discovered that I have got personality. They said that, you suit being in our buying team. They kind of put me into the buying team, and that's why I kind of fell into buying, and so that's quite kind of the life I lived for 10 years or so.
So one question about that, firstly, like a lot of people, especially like international people, they might not know much about Boots. So like, just describe for us like what is Boots and what do they do and what kind of level are they at?
Okay, so Boots are a internationally renowned retailer, right? They're a really old, like over 150 years old pharmacist, chemist, sorry, and they sell literally everything under the sun, from personal care and fragrance and cosmetics to electrical stuff to all sorts, basically. So they're probably on every high street in the UK. They've now been bought out by Walgreens of America, so they're now known as Walgreens. I think about 10 years ago they had a merger with Alliance Chemists from Germany. So there's this powerhouse of that three massive organizations in one.
So big corporate, basically, and you're like in charge of buying and procurement and stuff there,
yeah? Yeah, so obviously for one of the categories, which was personal care, so deodorants and shower gels and things like that. So I was the good thing about that was you obviously got to work with big brands, so Procter & Gamble, Unilever, and you started to understand some of the brands within that, so Dove or Shaw or these kind of guys. And then you learn that every brand has got its own objectives. Okay, so this brand is doing well in this particular field, but not this product. How do you grow sales of that? A lot of it was to do with, we had decisions to make about promotions and shelf space and where does it fit on shelf and all of these type of things. So it was quite interesting how it all worked. And to be honest, it was amazing because at that time I didn't realize how much power buyers have. It's amazing. People, everyone, you got sent gifts and you got sent all sorts and invitations to the World Cup and Wimbledon and Formula One and all sorts, because again, you want to be on good terms with your buyer, otherwise they can delist you.
Amazing. Okay, so like, what happened after Boots then? Did you kind of stick around there for a long time, or what did you do next?
I was there for a couple of years, and then I actually got headhunted to go to the perfume shop. So this was my first venture outside of Nottingham, actually. So cause I went to University of Nottingham as well. So this was in High Wycombe, which is a town outside of London. And so this for me was where I would say I grew a lot, because first of all, there's personal growth because I'm living on my own now for the first time, and so there's a lot of challenges and how do you kind of face all that stuff. And secondly, so at the time, Boots was this big corporate who I knew were just a number. It had a family feel. It was owned by A.S. Watson, which are a massive Chinese conglomerate. They own Superdrug and things like that, but it was only just been bought out, so it still had retained a lot of that family feel. And what they did was, and so obviously because I was in charge of obviously certain fragrance houses. Fragrance, I kind of loved that stuff already, and so I was kind of in my element, and it's quite a glamorous role. You going to work with brands like Armani and Lacoste and all this kind of stuff, and Hugo Boss, and then also going to launch parties and meeting celebrities, and so it was quite a nice. It was quite nice just from a enjoyment perspective, but I think even the work involved, they were quite good with things like development. So because it was more about doing, it wasn't I'm going to send you on training and things like that. It was okay, look, so they sent me on go to this trade fair, see what you can find and stuff. Or it was what about we're doing this Christmas gift set, like work with the supplier, see if you can develop a nice design and things like that. So I kind of got my first taste of and not only that, then you can see how did your gift set do, because that was an exclusive gift set with others, and I sold this many. Okay, next year it's going to sell. You know what I mean? So it was really good to get that kind of taste, and because they were number two. What I always say to people is like, look, if you're working with someone, always work with number two, because they're hungry and they're ambitious. So they if you propose this to them, they're more open to it, as opposed to that, I don't know, they don't want to risk their position when you're number one, but number two there, because you got that leverage to use it. But you have to do this. Boots aren't doing this. Boots are number one for the time, so it was quite. So that was kind of the perfume shop.
Okay, so I was there for just one thing, on that, like. You're the person that knows the most about fragrances from I know, right? And you have like a huge collection. So just tell us a little bit about your collection of perfumes and fragrances that you have. If
I could take this, I'll take it upstairs and show you. I've probably got like 200 bottles, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But what do you call it? Basically, perfumes or fragrance is one of those things that is very personal to the individual. So what might smell good on me might not smell good on you, because it mixes into your own like body and oils and stuff like that. And also there's like a fragrance. It's got how you have people have memories associated to see how people say they remember a song from their childhood because they were playing at this time, or is that fragrance has the same thing, like. Fragrances or smells remind you of things, so I think that and you can get fragrance for every single thing, can't you? Like but after the gym, this is a good one to wear, or after in the evenings, this is a good one to wear and stuff. So I think this is one of the ones where how I got into it was just every Eid. That was what my mum used to get me. But that used to give me, my mum used to give me fragrance over years and years and years. It was like, I wonder what she's going to get me this Eid. What's going to get me this? And then they just kind of built up there, really.
Amazing, and I think it's actually a huge sunnah in terms of like attar and smelling good and all this stuff. I actually really, I mean, obviously we've travelled a lot together, so I really like going through duty free with you, because you know all the perfumes and you're telling the sales guys, where's this one, where's that one. So I think it's like really, really amazing passion that you've got for it. So after Perfume Shop, talk me through like what kind of happened next and where do we go from there?
So it was interesting because this is like 2009 now, right? So the recession had just happened, the crash, and so I wanted to go back into education. I actually had a lot of what's the word? A bit of a sore point just about how my education kind of fizzled out. Because when you get into work, you start having regrets. You start thinking, you know what? I didn't actually fulfill my potential. I was capable of all this, and I did this, and obviously working, it does. And so I was like, look, I actually want to redeem myself, and I want to go back into full-time education. So, what I really wanted to do was an MBA, right? And so I looked at all these different places. But at this time, I mean, I haven't mentioned this already, but throughout my career, there was one word that's haunted me, which has been, Faisal, you need to specialize. You need to specialize in something. Throughout my career, everyone's always said that. Because even though I was a buyer, I was still interested in lots of things. I wonder what the marketing guys are doing. I wonder what this guys are doing. And I would just ask questions and be interested in stuff. And it was the same with the perfume shop as well. And so, and I think just with that in my mind, and with everyone advising me, and obviously with the recession, let's just say, I was like, okay, I can do the MBA or I can do the LPC. LPC is the kind of the thing that you need to do to become a solicitor. Whereas an MBA is more like the business thing, and the LPC was more of a stable route I saw. that, oh, okay, everyone, at least with this, I'll never be called a generalist again. I'll be, I'm a specialist, I'm a lawyer and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. And secondly, it was that, so I also thought, oh yeah, maybe I didn't really do myself justice in the degree. This is my chance at redemption and stuff. So I think that was a lot of the thinking at the time. So I came back to Nottingham. I went to Nottingham Law School, which is like one of the best law schools in the UK, and I actually loved it. It was actually amazing. I really, really enjoyed that year because it was the practical aspects of law, and so it was nothing like the which was not as interesting. And I did really well, got distinction, and so from that point, I thought, oh yeah, my mindset, I'm going to be a lawyer. That's kind of my career path set out, and so I started doing different sort of vacation schemes, which is like working with different companies. I worked with Superdrug. I did in their legal team for I did work with DHL, so I did some in-house kind of placements. And so what I did was that whilst I was looking for training contracts, I got a job with the NHS. It's called NHS Supply Chain, so they're like a arm's length kind of body, and they are responsible for all of the procurement for the NHS. So hospitals can buy that themselves, but because we're in the culture of, we need to find as many savings as possible, it's recommended that they buy from a government framework. So the NHS, a lot of the buying at like a national level, and then because it's already approved, they can just buy straight from there instead of doing their own tenders and stuff. So I worked there for about 4 or 5 years. Again, that wasn't the intention. But what actually happened was, so obviously I kind of I went in as a kind of temp, and I ended up just staying because I guess part of it just kind of happens. But secondly, I had a bit of it in my personal life where which opened my eyes to kind of my purpose and what I wanted to do, and so the work as in corporate work became less of a interest in thing because I started doing so much in my personal life. So, 2011, I went to South Africa, right? And so I went with a group of friends, and I went to this. For the first week, I was at this kind of retreat where there was like 250 people, and for about 30 different countries. What was amazing is that they were talking about like world issues, and they were talking about, Islam at the center of it. And first of all, the people from every single type of background, loads of different countries, but they're all like so like passionate, and they're also united, and they were like, oh yeah, Islam has got the answers to the economic problem, or it's got answers to the environmental problem, it's got answers to the political problem, but not only just that, then they were all like debating, like, so what do we need to do? Like, how do we put things in? I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I've never heard of Islam like this before. This is amazing. And up until that point, I was like, obviously, I was like, praying and doing the stuff you're supposed to do, but I was like, oh, hang on, Islam's got something to say on this stuff, right? I had never really been taught that stuff. And so I was hooked. I was like, okay, where can I learn more about this? And so obviously they recommended the books. I came back, read the books, and I was like, you know what? We need to. I need to share this stuff with even the local community. And so what I just did was I wanted to put on an event in Nottingham, just where we talked about Islam and the media, Islam and the monetary system. We talked about different topics, the food system, things like that. And we had such an amazing turnout. And it actually spawned an organization. It was like, whoa, okay, I didn't realize there's a demand for this stuff, right? That wasn't the intention. It was just, I just wanted to share a bit about what I kind of learned. And so, but that, I think just that whole experience and seeing the demand and how it happened by accident, but it sparked something within me. I was like, okay, you know what? I really, really want to do something that makes a difference, as opposed to doing the corporate thing and going to that was the first time I considered purpose as being a really important part of like your journey.
Amazing. Okay, so this is the time when the organization that you founded basically came to life, yeah? So it's a good point for you to tell us a little bit about No. What's it all about? What's it trying to achieve? Just some background on it.
Sure. Okay, so No, it's been through a bit of an evolution. So back then, what we were doing was we wanted to sort of talk about real issues, because this is what I felt. I said, oh, hang on, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. Like, you know, I didn't know that our money system is like this, and you know what the Islamic version of money should be like, and the principles around it. And so I didn't know that we have an Islamic version of medicine that's called tib, and this is how it. I didn't know any of this stuff, right? And what's the Islamic variation? So that was the initial objective. But what I found was quite early on, especially coming from Nottingham, quite a divided place, that if I go out as a Muslim organisation and right, people are going to say, all right, who is he? Which background is he from? And I felt people are going to not listen to the message; they're going to listen to the person, which is that's not what I wanted. So I actually thought, what is the one thing that unites everyone, no matter what background you're from? I thought, right, end times. Everyone believes in the end.
End times, okay.
End times are quite near. Yeah. So I kind of channeled all of that information and all that education through the end times kind of lens, because I lead to urgency. Oh my God, like this, all the end times actually are coming, and this is this hadith playing out. This thing is this hadith playing out and stuff, because there's so many hadiths. It's actually quite easy to do, and alhamdulillah, what I found that we had an amazing following. We had it wasn't a massive following, but it was really deep following, in the sense that people who followed us, they were like very passionate. They were like, you know, got really good open rates on. So because of that, what we were having, and it grew in terms of output, it grew quite quickly, because we at one point we had podcasts that we were doing every week. We were doing interviews with different scholars. We were doing blogs from people all around the world. We had different once a year events. We were doing all sorts. We were doing little images on social media. We were just pumping out loads and loads of different content, because we had something like 15 or 16 volunteers at our peak, right? This is at end of 2014, 2015. And so because my focus then changed from work to this stuff in my spare time, I kind of became less focused on, I need to progress in my career, and you know, this is the kind of stuff we should be doing. And so that's kind of where we got. That was kind of 2014.
So you kind of mentioned that obviously it was about end times, eschatology. It's one of those kind of subjects which is very, very popular in the Muslim kind of market. And, you know, people generally, even when you're not practicing, you're very interested that hadith, Nostradamus type of thing, where like you can see the future being played out from the hadith and stuff like that. So really powerful. But today, no's not like that, right? So what's it all about today?
No. The truth of it is that back then, even then, it was more of an angle. But what I did in that 2014, 2015, I kind of looked at everything. I said, you know what, is this really like what I envisioned? Because it was quite bloated. They were doing lots of different things, but it wasn't having the impact as I wanted. Oh, no, you know, what does proper change look like? What does proper transformation look like? And so I was like, you know what's the actual root cause, or what's the root issue I'm trying to resolve? And what I came to the conclusion was that the issue is actually the education system, right? That's the problem, right? The problem is that we're leaving school unprepared for the world, one thing. Secondly, we're not getting enough of the right type of knowledge to navigate our way through the world, and the third thing is that because of the way the education system is so structured, and there's no spirit in it, it's taking the soul out of it, and it's people have lost the love of learning, the whole lifelong learning. And whereas you think about that, which is completely against our fitrah, because our fitrah is that we seek knowledge from cradle to the grave, right? Our purpose in life is to know, right? It's mentioned in the Quran so many different times. So I was like, okay, you know what? That's really what we're trying to do. And so we've kind of deviated it. And this happens quite early on. And this can happen with organizations that are growing quite quickly if the leader doesn't keep things on track to the vision and stuff. So this is what I guess lessons I learned, that, you know, if you don't stay true to the vision, your momentum might take you elsewhere, and then to the point where you don't recognize it. That's why I guess, you know, that Simon Sinek, he talks about remember your why, because your why will keep you on track. And so anyway, it's funny. What happened was that at that point, I kind of pivoted. I was like, look, so I started researching. I started, okay, well, like, if I want to, education is such a big beast. How do you even try and attack it and stuff? But then I was heartened because we're living in this age where industries are being disrupted. You see the hotels, the Hiltons, and of the world, they're actually under attack for the first time from Airbnb. Then you see, Uber have now taken over the taxi industry, which has never before happened in history. Even retailers dying. I was obviously an ex-retailer myself, dying because of eBay and Amazon and things like that. So how did they do it? And this is something that a scholar said to me at the time, because look, when you want to disrupt a existing system in place, it never or hardly ever happens top down. That only happens if you're an amazing leader, Malcolm X or Ertugrul or something like that. It usually happens bottom up. It happens the people unite on a cause, and that momentum leads you to disrupt the powers that be and stuff. And that's what. So I was thinking, okay, we've got tech. And so I started reading about collaborative consumption, started reading about the sharing economy, platforms, and I was like, right, this is what I want to design and stuff. But obviously the problem is finances and money and stuff like that. And so I thought, okay, how do I do this? I crowdfunded, got the vision out there, and then started like doing the wireframes and designing. And basically it took a year or two, actually, to be honest. But I created something today which only relaunched last year as a proper EdTech platform that is it's got e-learning, it's got micro-learning. The micro-learning, basically what I want to do, I want to right a lot of the wrongs that prevent people having proper education today. First thing is that our attention span has gone, right? So, okay, so now we've got things like nodes, which is information that's consumed in either 3 minutes or less or 300 words or less, right? So, again, schools are very rigid and structured. So we're like, no, look, you can learn from anyone. So you have knowledge I don't know, I might have knowledge you don't know. A 15-year-old might have knowledge that neither of us know. A 65-year-old might. And so the idea is that anyone can go on there and share what they know. And not only that, if you teach what you know, you know that you're your ex-teacher yourself, that you learn things best by teaching it. And that's how you retain knowledge. So so that was another problem that it fixed. The third problem was the fact that instead of you, the important thing was for you to come to your own conclusion. So instead of this is what gold is, or this is what the World War I is all about. Instead of me learning from school, if I watched let's say 3 or 4 different videos, different people's perspectives, within 10 minutes, I've now understood that subject. And I'm doing my own thinking. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I agree with the first guy. Don't really agree with the second guy. Yeah, the third guy. I'm also thinking for myself. I'm not just being taught. It's not just me parroting what someone else has said. Yeah. And that's the idea. Become people who think again. Because I think that's what's happened to our ummah, basically, that we, Alam Iqbal said this about 500 years ago. He said that 500 years ago, our ummah stopped thinking. And there's no coincidence that as you start thinking, we've declined as a result. And that's why when we launched under the guise of this brand new campaign called the Second Golden Age, because what we're trying to do is trying to inspire, right? Like a platform, the way you get users onto a platform is a bit of chicken and egg. You either have amazing content on the platform, or you have lots of users, and that the platform that the course creators can make. But that cash, the only way you can do it is you get people by inspiring them onto the. So we're doing a very slow kind of process, which is getting our philosophy out there, our thoughts on lifelong learning, and the fact that we want to create a world where Muslims are leading the way like they used to, right? And so in the Islamic Golden Age, Muslims were the best. Scientists, the best doctors, the best of everything. But how did they get there? Is because Islam and non-Islamic, let's say, knowledge wasn't mutually exclusive. They were polymaths, right? So and for them, learning was just a form of worship of Allah. So they would excel, and that led them to adding value to the world. And so that's exactly what I want to kind of get to. I want to get to a stage where people are really, really able to embody that spirit and provide amazing value and impact for the world, inshallah.
Inshallah, I think it's an amazing vision, and I've been involved in it from the start. I think so. It's like really, really amazing, and I think it's going to become more and more needed now. As our attention spans go down, as education starts to change and stuff like this. So I think it's wonderful to have someone in the Muslim world who's thinking about education on that kind of level and still having Islam at its center. So that's amazing. So let's kind of move on now, Faisal, to to the last few years of the entrepreneurship journey, right? Because you're kind of at NHS and you're doing that good, well-paid job. Lots of responsibility. I think you're managing like 100 million kind of budget for the NHS, and you're responsible for lots of stuff. So you got all of that stuff ready. You're at a really good point. Yeah, you got a very good kind of point where you are with your career and everything. What happened then?
Okay, so I did something like ridiculous when I look back. But so in 2014, I kind of turned 30. Right? I know I look older because of the white hairs, but I turned 30. And so, what happened was that I was turning 30 in April, and sort of towards the end of March, I started feeling like, you start getting reflecting mode. You start thinking, oh, what did you do in my 20s and all that kind of stuff. And you know what I started thinking? I started thinking two main things. I was thinking, what are the two things in my life that I'm known for? Or I started thinking about identity and stuff. So I'm known for being a buyer. I'm a buyer. That was a decision that the person at Boots made. They just put me in the buying team. Yeah. And I was thinking, I'm known for like being a lawyer or doing law and stuff. That was a decision my mum and dad made. I go, what I have my control of, right? I started having this bit about identity crisis. So I was like, look, you know what? And I talk about this a lot nowadays because I really, really understand. I think that the beginning of your journey comes from knowing yourself. And this is the one thing that we don't often do. We don't internally reflect. And so that's what I did. I actually went away on holiday. And I basically just did, literally, just jotted away. Like, who am I trying to get to know myself? What am I good at? What am I passionate about? And all these things, I didn't really have a clue. That was a crazy thing. But all I knew was that, look, I know I don't want to do this. That's the one thing I do know. And so I just quit. I came back from holiday. I just gave my notice in. I didn't know what I was going to do or anything like that. And I just said that, look, I've got a 3-month notice period. I'll figure something out. That's what I, so, and I obviously didn't tell my mom and dad until a few weeks to go. So, so it was obviously scary, big, brave decision and stuff. But I felt, obviously, I did feel liberated. I felt like, oh my God, this is the beginning of the rest of my life, right? I've got the world ahead of me. I could actually shape my life any way I want it to go. And so, so what happened at that point was that I discovered, you discovered a program on Amazon, right? And so it was all about how to sell on Amazon and things like that. And I was like, you know what, that really resonates because I was a buyer and it's all about buying products from and then selling. Oh my God, this is like right on my street, right? So I also got involved in that, and Hamza started launching products. Went to China that year, saw different products out there, and by the end of like a couple of years of doing that, I launched like 25 products, like all the different things, things like drones to beauty products to car battery chargers and all sorts of stuff, really new stuff and really like stuff that you would think that never selling in a million years, but it did. And alhamdulillah, it was really, really good because what you learn as well is that the advantage of being in all these places, it really came to use here because everyone was launching things at normal level. I had that expertise of kind of branding and what retail packaging looks like and all that kind of stuff. So we were able to charge a bit more margin wise and all that kind of stuff. So that was I would say that was really, really good experience in terms of cutting your teeth in the real world. So I'll probably think learn more in those like early couple of years than probably for the last 5 years because I'd kind of been in cruise control.
Amazing. Okay. So obviously, it was a very good position for you because, like you said, you understood buying. So all the times when you went China, you were very good at sourcing. And I think it's a good point to mention that you're not only good at sourcing products, but you're actually very good at sourcing people as well. And a lot of the work that we did in the early days about branding and this and that, we always found like amazing people to do things at rock bottom prices, and you were always kind of driving those prices down, you know. So I think that whole thing was amazing.
The key to that is very simple. It's actually relationships. Honestly, that is the single most important thing, because people think that you have to remember you're buying from people, right? And they think, oh, I've got to get the best price, so I've got to win, he's got to lose. Not all that, because it's all about longevity and long-term relationship and going on a journey together and letting them see your vision and all that kind of stuff. So that, you know, at the end of the day, I've got to say throughout my whole career, this has been you get different types of buyers, right? So a Tesco buyer, for example, are known for being aggressive, hard-nosed, because they can abuse their power. They're in that authority position. But I don't really agree with that style, even though that might work for them. Because I don't think it's the way we should do anything from a Sunnah perspective. Anyway, we should give be equitable with people and be fair with people and stuff like that. So that was the key, really. And it's amazing what you can get people to do because they like you. That's the thing. When you fall out with someone, then like if you need them, they'll say, okay, well, fine, I'll still do it through kind of gritted teeth, but then they'll charge you a high amount. Whereas if you get on, if you're good with people, you say, even things like, oh, give me a little bonus. So it means nothing for you, but for them it might mean the world, right? Or when you're buying from people as well, you're setting the vision. I want to have a long-term business. I want to do this with you. Or maybe we could do this. Maybe sending them other customers. Just help them out, because at the end of the day, it's win-win. It's all about win-win.
Yeah, I love that. So you're saying that basically the way you actually get what you want from a buying perspective is by building those relationships. And if you think win-win and you have those kind of relationships where you make them buy into the vision, then you'll find that they're actually nicer to you and they want to help you, as opposed to being the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you look, I was in, even in previous roles, sometimes what you do with supply is that you have to understand it's all give and take, right? And so sometimes if you get, let's say you get, and sometimes it's constant trading. Sometimes you're trading information. I came across this information that might be useful to them. And the thing is, sometimes it's not useful to them, but because you've done it, you've given it to them, they feel, oh wow, this guy's got my back. This guy's like, I'm going to help him out. And so what you do is, because then you've got leverage to have when you have the conversation. They already know. Oh yeah, look, oh come on, John. Look, I don't normally do that, but I've done it for you and this and that. Oh, okay, go on then. Yeah, we'll do it. Because they feel that you've actually helped them out. Now they owe you one, and it's just constant like battle back and forth. But the key to do it is an authentic way, not in a way where you're like horse trading or you're trying to just get one over them. And it's not like that. It's authentic. It's genuine relationship, and it's amazing how far it can go.
Amazing. Okay, good. So I think obviously the products, the branding, the kind of stuff. I mean, there was times when we showed people products and they couldn't believe that we, like two Pakistani guys in the UK, had designed them, and all the China trips. So there's so much there. But I wanted to focus on two things, I think. The first thing I wanted to focus on is just a little bit about passive income, because when you first start this journey of actually wanting to like become an entrepreneur, you have this whole thing, you want to do passive income and this and that. And obviously writing was like kind of a big thing for you as well. So just tell us a little bit about, how you work with passive income and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because when I actually think about my own checkered career, it's quite funny when you look at it actually, because there's so many different things I've tried. So I'll give you an example. When one of the startups I was playing around with was called Giftical. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
That was it was such a stupid idea. I can't remember. I don't know why I did it, but it was something to do with a tech greeting card business. God knows. So that was terrible. Spent 6 months or 9 months on it, developed a website, and it's pointless. Then I worked on with a friend's business. He was really passionate about lighting, and he designed a light for his dissertation. And he was, I want to work with my friends to bring this to life. And so I actually helped out on that. I was part of the startup team on that called Glow. He's doing really, really well today. And so obviously he's someone that I've obviously kept in touch with. I'm kind of still regularly advising and stuff on that. But then I even did random things. So again, in the spirit of kind of making money, especially in the early days, you think, okay, I'll just do. I did something called Cake Taker, right? Again, it doesn't make sense at the time. I've got some horror stories when I think about it. But what this was essentially was, this was a time where the Great British Bake Off was big. Loads of loads of people were what do you call it, like baking cakes and stuff. But they came up with one problem, which was the Royal Mail. Nobody delivers cakes because of a perishable or whatever. And so for me, that's a problem. It's a problem. I can solve that problem. How can I solve that problem? My brother at the time had a taxi firm, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? That's is a perfect thing, because I can just double up on what he's doing, and instead, and we'll just take the cakes. I didn't realize, but after a few horror stories, there was one we did a wedding cake, right? And I remember I actually went to take that one. It was on my lap. Literally, by the time it was a really hot day. By the time we got there, it collapsed. It was all over my clothes.
Oh my god!
And like a £500 wedding. They were horrified, and so I was really horrified and stuff. But but obviously you just learn by doing, isn't it? And so, but anyway, but the point I'm trying to get to is that in order to make things happen, you need to just go out and try and try and do things. Now, one of the projects that we worked on, we said that, look, we identified quite early on that back in the day, the problem was you had to invest lots of money, get a shop, get a lease, all that kind of stuff, get stock. Now we're in a really fortunate time where the platforms have got all the customers that you need. You can just get a shop on there very quickly. And so and people think, oh yeah, but eBay is the shop or Amazon the shop. We're not thinking laterally. We're not thinking actually. Amazon Kindle, that's a shop. Audible, that's a shop. What's it called? App Store, that's a shop. So these are all different platforms, and you can get a product that can go on there and stuff. So this is where the whole. One of the guys that I used to follow was a guy called Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income. And I was like amazed at how what he had done is through. He just had a similar story. He left his job, didn't know what he was going to do, and then what he just did is started doing a lot of blogging and different things online, and he just did loads of different passive things. But he just set up a project and let that project just make money automatically. And so what we found was that okay, one thing that sells really well on Kindle is self-help books. So all the big names, Tony Robbins and Simon Sinek and people like that. And so, but people don't have time to read, right? So we obviously created summary versions of those books, put them online. Alhamdulillah, to this day, they're still selling. Literally, that work we did how long ago? 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
And 25, 30 books, they're still selling, still making hundreds of dollars every month. But imagine, what was amazing was that at that time, do you remember we did a bit of research? Who's the competitor at the time? Someone who started a little tiny company that started at the time called Blinkist. How big are they?
Massive, yeah. Just
exactly the same concept. They started at exactly the same time. They were doing the same kind of books as we were doing, but they just focus, kept on the same path, and they are a huge, like $1 million company now, and got bought out and all sorts. So I guess there's a lesson in that in itself, isn't it? That sometimes you can do one idea. If you focus on it, it could be the one.
Yeah,
so interesting.
I think what's really interesting is I remember must have been about 8 years ago, 7, 8, something like that. And we used to have these little quarterly meetings, right? We would kind of develop and talk about money. And I remember I used to always say in those meetings, I was like, "Look, bro, how can we make £5 online?" Right? That used to be my thing. That used to be every single quarter. I was asking this question: how can we make £5 online, without doing anything, right? And we used to ask that question over and over again. And alhamdulillah, I think Kindle and Amazon and these things were our first real experience of this. Kindle, when it first started, it was making thousands online without us doing any work. It was just pure front loading, where you do all the work and you just basically go for it, And so I think that at £5, that showed us that because we can make £5, we can make £500. Because we can make £500, we can make £5,000. So I think that was an amazing thing.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was that what was amazing through all these different experiences is that you come across loads of different trends, things that you see, you think, okay, you know what, they're doing that, like, why can't we do that? And alhamdulillah, with the so this is where we discovered things like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Now that's again another platform, because again we've already had these experiences, and like we've done products before, we've done marketing before, we've done video, we've done all this stuff before. Now why can't we apply it to a different platform? So this is the thing. So what we did was that at that time, that was one of our. And sometimes what you do is that you do things because of the situation that you're in. And the situation we were in was that we were quite burnt out. We had like 20, 25 products, and every single, because we were in different industries, they were all their own business essentially. And we were like, you know what? How can we do it? Again, if you ask yourself the right question, you can come up with the right answer. How can we harmonize what we're doing so we're focusing on building one business instead of 10? And so that's what we did. So what happened at that time then is that we were like, look, we did a lot of research around Kickstarter. What are the things that do well? And what we discovered, okay, the world's first. So we need to find something that's the world's first. We need to do, something that is something to do with technology. People love technology and all that kind of stuff. And so we went out to China with this brief in mind. Okay, right, let me look for something. And alhamdulillah, there's so many. We went to about 5 or 6 different trade fairs, saw all this different stuff, and we came back. We said, okay, right, we've got a great idea. We saw something here. Let's combine it with that. We combine it something with that we saw here. Put a few things together. We just present it as a concept, because that's the beauty of crowdfunding, that you don't actually have to have the thing already made, and you can make it afterwards. All that your idea. And that's what we did when we come up with the concept of ZenCube. So the idea of ZenCube is that it's the world's first smart Himalayan salt lamp. So we already knew that the salt lamps were sort of quite big on Amazon. People were already buying them, but they were very ugly. They had different problems with it. So could we find a way of disrupting it? So doing a version that never had been done before, and doing it like Apple had designed it or something. So that was the kind of the vision that we kind of presented out there. Alhamdulillah, like it got funded on day one, and what's amazing about doing a project like that, when you're doing that Kickstarter and launch good, is that the amount of activity you have to put into it is tiring. It's really, really tiring. But that kind of I really believe Allah doesn't waste effort. That activity in equals you get the output, because what then happened was we had so much press, and it was in like GQ and all these magazines. Ideal Home Show got in touch. They said, we want to. Normally it costs a lot to feature there. They featured it there for free for the whole 5 days of the thing, and they were presenting on it. We've had invites from Gadget Show, and went over to the US and selling in retail. So made one little thing, and the journey that it kind of takes you on, and then you learn about influencers, and I've got to do this, and all of a sudden you've just got this big brand, right? And not big brand, but you've got a brand that's out there that's ready for the next steps. I mean, it just came from just a little spark.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing when you think about it, actually. And I think we really love crowdfunding, because concepting and thinking of the idea and all that stuff is something that we love doing. I think crowdfunding is an amazing, amazing thing. And alhamdulillah, since then we've been doing it for clients, and we've helped them to get some really good results and successes and stuff. So I think it just crowdfunding.
And this is the beauty, bro. Everything that we've done, because we think in systems. I think this is a recent lesson that we've kind of taken on, that everything has got a system. Everything has got for life in general, and Allah's created everything with the same system. And so if you can apply that system to different things, it can it should get the results. And if it doesn't, maybe just tweak one element of it, tweak another element of it. But ultimately, if you can start thinking in systems and seeing everything as a system, you could actually master the formula, essentially.
I think another thing, Faisal, I'm just thinking about that we did, I think that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people try and go on the journey on their own, right? And so what happens is that they actually like fizzle out because they're on their own. So I think there's 2 levels of getting support. One is the fact that we were actually business partners, and we were kind of, when the times were hard, we were like pushing each other on and like saying, "Oh, bro, just stick with it," and trying to help each other. So I think that's one massive level of support. And obviously, when we talk about business partners, we're like, you have to be aligned, you have to have the right values and all these kind of things. But I think something I realized today is that Also, bro, when we were trying to walk these paths, we had a beginner's mindset. We were like, okay, we don't know anything, we need to learn it, right? And so if you think about it, like when we first did Amazon, we paid money for a real course, and it was a lot of money, and we learned how to do Amazon, right? And then when we later did crowdfunding, we paid money for a course, and we did crowdfunding, right? And so all these kind of times we were spending a lot of money on our own development, learning the ways to kind of do things. And I think this is why it's so relevant now that we've kind of been through all these experiences, we're now trying to share that expertise with other people, with Muslim CEO, with the Growth Accelerator program and stuff like that. And I think this is a path that people should really go on so they don't have to make their own mistakes, you know?
Yeah, look, this is where the whole lifelong learning comes into play, because this is why, you know, like I told you before, I was embarrassed of the whole generalist thing. I didn't used to like it, but now I embrace it. I actually am like a proud generalist, because that's what's given me this kind of diverse experience. I literally, you put me into any environment, it wouldn't faze me. You know, some of the stuff we've done, like we've never done it before. It doesn't matter. We'll find a way. We'll learn watch this YouTube video. Oh, okay, no, you know what? We'll do this course, or we'll speak to someone. Sometimes what we've done, just spoken to someone that we found who's been done it before. Oh, do you have 5 minutes for a quick Skype call? And obviously, everyone, a lot of people, you know, one of the people who've done it, they're actually willing to help. That's what we don't. That's what people don't realize. I've got that kind of. They're a bit worried and this and that, but just ask.
Do you remember, Faisal, like one example of that is actually do you remember that guy, Faisal? Like one example of what you're saying is we met this guy called Fred in China, right? Who had basically done crowdfunding, and he had raised like a 1.2 million or something crazy, basically, right? And he was just telling us the secret to doing that. And we were just like, we don't even know the guy. And he was just like telling us the secret. He's like, if you want to have a call when you're back in London, no problem. And so I think you're right. People who are actually really helpful.
Yeah. I'm going to the same with us, because it's a nice segue into the final part of the journey, because what actually ended up happening was we had obviously created this product and all that kind of stuff. We learned through all this e-commerce and all this stuff that we were doing that creating the product was actually the easy part. Like selling it online was the hard part, because there's so much noise, there's so much competition and stuff. And so we actually went to different agencies and different people to, okay, look, can you help us do this? Can you help us do that? Paid money again for agencies. No one really got us good results. They were terrible results. And they were like, why are we spending all this money? And we were like, look, what? Again, because we forgot our own rules, our principles, which was, you know what, learn it for yourself and you know, continuous learning and stuff. So we learned it, and it got to the point where we mastered it, and people then started coming to us. But then we were just giving them free advice. Oh yeah, what's up? Oh yeah, voice notes. Oh, you just do this, just do. And it got to the point where there's, you know, people start asking so much, it kind of spawned a new entity in itself, which was like the consultancy, and that that's kind of where we are today, really. That's the birth of Muslim CEO, essentially. I led to the agency, which is Life Digital, and then through all that, got lots of different clients. You know, gave them lots of value over the years and stuff. So it's amazing. I read, you know, another thing I read recently was, have you heard of something called a jigsaw career?
No. Sounds like my career.
So jigsaw career is like a new thing that they're saying. Like they think that for Gen Z and millennials, this is the career that they're probably going to be having. And because back in the day, it was workplace was linear. It was like, okay, look, you're into the job, you're going to be in it for 25 years, you're going to get a gold watch, and you're going to retire, and then stuff. Now they say that, to be honest, the world is changing so fast, you actually don't know what your job you're going to do in 10 years. So just try lots of different things, because it's all a piece of the jigsaw. And eventually, through doing all this different stuff, you will figure out yourself, and you'll figure out what you're all about and what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and then you'll excel. And this is why I thought that's exactly what's happening with me, because I really now champion this thing of fitra, and when you're at fitra, you're in flow. That's really how I see it. Like when you're in fitra, you're in flow, because when the Japanese, they call it ikigai or something. Have you heard that phrase, which is being, which is like when you're at your best self or whatever. It's that whole thing. We have it in Islam that, look, we were all born for a purpose. We all have a different skill set. And just like how you have the trees, you have a tree that was there to give shade, a tree that you can take medicine from, a tree that's going to give you bark. it's the same with us. In science of nature, we're also people who have been given a different purpose. We need to figure out what that purpose is and give value, because that's our life is short. How can you give value? That's the real test, really.
Amazing. I think that's really, really amazing. So first of all, we're kind of fast running out of time now. Me and you, we can talk for 15 hours straight, probably, right? So look, I want to go through some kind of quick fire round, but I want to do it on the topic of leadership a little bit, yeah? So I want you to kind of tell me, like, who is a leader that's inspired you or you're inspired by, and why?
All right. You probably know the answer because you're doing it. It's going to sound strange to a lot of people. And that from a business perspective, actually, Henry Ford. He's like 100 years old, 100 years ago and stuff. But if you actually read up about him, his story is so inspiring, because it's not just the stuff that he invented the production line, or he made the cars really big, and that's all good achievement. It was his mindset. He was I would say he was a social entrepreneur. He cared so much about the community that he was like, look, a business that only makes money is a bad business, because it's like, no, you have to give value to people, right? Then he did so many strategic initiatives that changed the game. Like, first of all, he gave, like, at the time, the maximum wage was like $2 a day. He bumped it up to $5. They did just double it, then some. What that did, it just made, first of all, put wealth in everyone's pockets. What did they do with that wealth? They bought cars. So it changed the society. And then he basically hired disabled people for the first time. He was an advocate for ongoing learning as well. And then he was like, look, you need to have amazing people around you. So everything that he embodies, and I feel like he embodies it's actually what Islam says about entrepreneurship, because it was all so done in the right way, and giving lots of barakah as well.
Okay, amazing. Okay, amazing, excellent. So the other question I got for you then is, like, what is leadership for you? And like, what kind of ways do you think that, you've improved as a leader? How has that come about, and how would someone else become a better leader?
Yeah, so I think that leadership is basically ownership. It's owning what amana you've been given. So that's why, how we talk about systems. We talk about the macro, and then you talk about micro. Macro is obviously the president or the governor or whatever. That's but at the lowest level, let's say your eldest sibling, right, is a leader over his younger brothers and sisters, and he doesn't do a good job as a leader. He bullies them and this and that. That causes problems. That causes pain. That causes a problem at the next level up for the mum. The mum is the leader of all the kids, and then she's going to cause a problem for the husband, and then he's obviously the leader of the house. So that house is now in chaos, right? And so this is another thing I basically took from law, because obviously Allah sent down the Quran, the book of law. Why? Because obviously how we have this phrase law and order. That's what law is supposed to do. It's supposed to create order, and without order you have chaos. And so this is the point that if the leader is supposed to put order in place by following the laws, and it's the same in nature, isn't it? Like, if we don't eat properly, we don't feel so good because we're not following the laws of nature, or because the climate change is happening because we're abusing the laws of nature and stuff. So in the same way, if we're not putting order into the house or into our leadership, it's going to cause chaos, essentially. So that trickles all the way down as it trickles all the way up. And so one of my big beliefs, as I mentioned earlier, was the systems are in place. They're immovable objects. They're so rigid and structured that it's really difficult if you're looking for, say, a savior to come and break it all down for us. So we have to take that ownership ourselves. We have to have an amana. We have to understand our amana first of all, and we need to work together with because it's power in the people that will basically break the systems and get to order again.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I've never heard you talk about leadership like that, actually, but I love the idea of following the law and having order, which creates that kind of environment. So I think that's wonderful, mashallah, amazing. So the other question I got for you, right? One of the things you guys should know about Faisal is that not only is he like very trendy and stuff, but he's actually very ahead of the game. So a lot of the time, Faisal will come to me and say, hey, there's this thing that's kind of called Launch Good, and it's really amazing. And I'm like, Launch Good? What on earth is that, right? And then later on, Launch Good becomes huge, and I'm like, Faisal told me all about that, right? Same with this thing called Loom, which is like, he told me about it ages ago, and I was like, what is Loom? We don't even need it, we've got another software. And then you see Loom get funded, and so you're always kind of ahead of the curve. You're always kind of like one of those people who's like an early adopter. Yeah, Muzmatch was another one that you kind of went on to, although I wouldn't admit it, right? So early adopter, all these kind of things, right? So like, tell us, bro, like what are like some really, really important resources, softwares, things like that that you use that really help you in your life?
There's loads of really, really good ones. I think the staple, I'd say, so Trello is our bread and butter, isn't it? Because we manage so many remote staff, etc. It's really, really good for project management. So that's kind of what we use day to day. If you're organized, if it is a bit more sophisticated, there's a really good one called ClickUp. That's fully loaded, but it's a bit more complex to use. So, but Trello does the job for 80-90% of the organizations out there. The other one is for communication internally and stuff. So Slack is really, really good. A lot of corporates are using things like Microsoft Teams, but I like Slack because it's just very simple and it's quite quirky and stuff.
What about personally?
I mean, I guess it
habits. Like, what kind of things are you using?
Yeah, so the one that I by is one called Fabulous. I think I mentioned this before, but this 6 a.m. every morning, alarm comes up. Okay, so then my ritual starts, and then you just have to tick off your rituals, and so and then at 8 o'clock I start my work. My office routine starts. So then I've got to tick off all that stuff. So and then at 1 o'clock my break time routine. And so at various times of the day, it allows, because again I told you everything's about systems and stuff. So these things allow you to stay for repeatedly do, isn't it? So so I would say that is, if there's only one app on my phone that's like I can't live without, it's probably that one.
What's it called, Faisal? Because you just cut out this slightly.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good app.
Excellent.
Yeah. Other one, obviously, if you mind, Loom's amazing. Loom's amazing when you're screen sharing, because it's a screen software, and it allows you to record an email, record a video, and then literally with one click of a button you can send it to anyone, and they can understand it, or they can watch it. So when you're explaining complex subjects, instead of, when I had to manage freelancers and people, I would have to write whole instructions. So this kind of a game changer for me. Yeah. Even with the long emails, it's like, so with that, I don't really need to. I can just talk about what I need and stuff, and then you can show them on the screen, and so it's really, really good. And again, for content, you can just and create content, and off you go.
Okay. Last question for you, Faisal, right? Last question, because I know you're a big reader. You're someone who always loved books and stuff like that. Like, what are the books that you recommend the most, or what are your favorite books? Like, give me 2 or 3 books that you really believe that people should read, or are really amazing books.
I mean, look, I like to read a lot in different subjects. So there's stuff like the shock doctrine or Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which is like geopolitics and stuff. But I'm going to keep it like more business focused. So Outliers was a really, really good book, really nice stories, and it's a story of success, right? So he's just kind of analysed how different people are successful, and then he kind of given his thoughts. Yeah, Malcolm Gladwell. Another one that I really like is Originals by a guy called Adam Grant. So he goes, again, with creativity, and again, I love this kind of stuff because again, what he was saying is that essentially creativity comes through having a lot of different experiences, and because then wisdom is born that way and all that kind of stuff. So again, he's analysed what makes people original thinkers. The one I'm reading right now, oh my god, I love this book because it's called Range. So it only came out this year. A guy called David Epstein, and so Range, his whole thing is how generalists can thrive in a specialised world. So basically, speaking my language, I remember I pre-ordered this book when I saw it. But it's really amazing because like the first chapter, he just talks about, for example, Tiger Woods versus Roger Federer. Right, both of them giants, legends and stuff. Everyone knows Tiger Woods' story. That at 2 years old, his dad, made him hold a club, and the amount of focus he knew he was going to be a golf from day one, and this and that. At age of 4, he won his first tournament. Amazing, right? But Roger Federer's story, he was like, he could have been a footballer. His mum and dad, his mum was a tennis coach, but she never wanted to train him. She said, no, I don't want to train him and stuff. And so she said, no, he plays too much tennis. No, she tried to encourage him away from tennis. But so he did loads of different things. He did football, he did different sports. He actually did a lot of other extracurricular type stuff. But basically, they said that he was a product of the amount of range of skills that he had, because he was so fast on the court. That was because of the dancing thing that he did. Because he was so for me, it's it's amazing some of the research that has gone into this stuff. Because what it's done is it's dispelled a lot of the myths that I was always told growing up. And because I kind of felt all this stuff all along, but it's nice to read it, when someone is backing it with stats and data and stuff.
Okay, excellent. So 3 books are Outliers, there's Range that you mentioned, and Outsiders, yeah? Originals. Sorry, I consider them outsiders, but originals.
Yeah.
Okay.
24 assets.
24 assets, another good one. I'm sure we could talk about books all day. But, Faisal, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today. It's great to catch up again. Jazakallah khair for all your time and for your wonderful advice. So I know everyone watching, you're going to love what Faisal had to say. Make sure that you guys share it. Brothers and sisters, this is the Muslim CEO Show. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you haven't already done so, please remember to subscribe to our channel. And of course, you should check out our free training at muslimceo.com/grow. Faisal, it's been great having you here, and we'll see you soon, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.